change your mind, if you change your mind.
Letters to Lars really feels like a recapping of the lives of Beach City, even though that this episode is supposed to be the turning point of what Beach City is going to be like with the new mayor running in town, and the majority of the episode just centers around Mayor Dewey trying to fit in, but he can't, and he has to face the facts that everyone has gotten better with him not being mayor anymore. Granted, that's how I felt upon watching this episode for the first time, but the more I think about it and my critiques towards the other Beach City episodes, this really feels like a cap-off of the Beach City episodes, aside from the one from Future, well, a few ones from Future. And to be perfectly real with you, watching this episode from beginning to end, like the other episodes, is harmless, and it really feels like a cap-off of what Beach City has become with a new mayor in town. And whenever I think of how every single character, aside from the original mayor, is happy, and when it comes to Lars being in outer space, even though I didn't want this episode to be the final episode centering around Lars if the second half of the season wasn't rushed, but as far as I'm concerned, for what it is, it really made me appreciate of how Steven is trying to have Lars catch up by sending him letters, even though he ended up speaking them over while being inside of Lars' head. Even though that people may have mixed opinions towards the Beach City episodes, for me personally, this really feels like a proper closure, since that after this episode, we're getting back to serious territory when it comes to the pink diamond reveal. Believe me, every time that this episode has been in my mind, I really feel like that this episode was a lot more better with how that these elements have been coming together. And when it comes to Mayor Dewey, at the end of the day, this is mostly a Mayor Dewey episode, even if he's not really a main character completely. With him being shut out by the citizens because they have better lives without him being mayor, I would probably say for a fact that if the episode focused on Mayor Dewey 100%, it wouldn't even work out, which kind of sums up onto why that I couldn't be able to enjoy the Mayor Dewey episodes completely, even though that the direction of it all is supposed to make sense. Even though that Mayor Dewey is the least favorite when it comes to Beach City citizens, I really think that for how he tries too hard, and yet at the same time he just doesn't stand out the most when it comes to other Beach City citizens, it really gave me the impression that the only episode that I actually found him likable was the short episode from Season 1, towards the end of Season 1, and it kind of sums up a lot that without a lot of exploring on making his character slightly better, it really makes him bland and difficult to take him seriously. It may be one thing for a character to be intentionally like that, but at the same time in Season 5, it really sums up a lot that even if he may have a happy ending of some sort, in an alternative way, he will have left Beach City to find a new direction in life, which it could be for the best, but for me personally, it's just difficult for me to feel sympathy towards him. Believe me, the ending that he gets in this is good, but as far as I'm concerned, for how Beach City is operating, especially since that it became a better place in future, I'm going to assume that if they didn't give Mayor Dewey an ending, it wouldn't be fair towards him. Because as far as I'm concerned, even though that I don't feel sympathy when it comes to the alternative way, you can make the argument that he didn't really deserve it. And to give him credit, Steven gave Dewey ideas when it comes to naming donuts, and he gave Lars' parents pink donuts, which he calls the Pink Laws. Let's be real with you, this ending somewhat redeemed him for the most part. And even though that I was being a little harsh towards him when it comes to the Dewey episode way earlier in the season, it's just mainly of how I can't be able to adjust to every single character of Beach City citizens. That's just basically how I feel. But like I said, this is fair for me to admit that this is honestly a good moment from him. This episode, like I said, is the closure of Beach City episodes aside from a couple in future. And in all honesty, it kind of makes me feel like that these episodes were a lot more important in their own way. Granted, some of them are mixed and some of them are bad, but as far as I'm concerned, for someone who didn't go through Steven Bombs and hiatus, I don't blame you if you went through that. In all honesty, it kind of sums up that a different point of view of people not going through hiatus or Steven Bombs can have a different perspective on the show who only watched it in 2 months after Future ended. But regardless, everyone has different point of views and how they binge watch their shows, especially at different times. I'm giving this episode a 7 out of 10.